Good afternoon and God's blessings to you. I pray that you're having a wonderful start to your day and that you are fully persuaded that Jesus Christ is Lord. You and I have many, many testimonies of how good he is in the earth and how much he's doing and how well he's working and how often he's working. Please give me just a moment so I can fix this. I'm hoping I'm doing an okay job with setting this up right. God is doing so much in the earth, and I am just so grateful that he invites his sons and his daughters into what he's doing because he doesn't have to. I love how the writer says, "Who art man that thou art mindful of him?" Like, what is it that we are able to be even, or how is it that the God of all creation can set his mind and heart on us? We can't even compare to him, and yet he does. And not only does he think about us, but he thinks so much of us to include us in what he's doing and to extend his hand and his heart to us so much that he makes us like him. That is a great, great thing. That's bigger than what you and I can imagine, bigger than what we could have ever asked for. And I love the lesson that we had last night in our local gathering, that if we could just be satisfied with God, we could just be satisfied in the knowing of God, we will understand why he says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I have no lack." You don't lack anything when you're satisfied in God. There's no holes, no vacancies, no voids, nothing at all. God is all and in all. And when you allow for him to satisfy you, he says you are right where you need to be. So that has to be your searching. That has to be your seeking. He says, if you seek me, you will find me. If you search for me with all your heart, that means that your whole heart has a capability of enveloping God. Your whole heart has the ability to take God in. Every compartment, every area, every part has the ability to have the Lord there. And so we have to really press into that. You have to know where there's aspects of your soul, your mind, your heart, where God is not there. You have to know what it looks like. You have to understand what the evidence of the lack of God is when you're anxious, when you're afraid, when you're sad, when you're lonely, when you're depressed, when you're feeling as though life is not going your way, dissatisfied with life, dissatisfied with what the day brings, when you have sudden disappointment and you're easily offended. These are areas of your heart. When you have experiences that pull up from the background of your mind, your memories, and they're hurtful, and you have the trauma there. These are areas of your heart that God is not there, and you need him there. You need him there. He says, I'm available to be there. I'm looking for you to open up availability to me. That right there is something that we have to press into. That right there is something that we have to learn to seek God for, to search him out for until we know that he has consumed every area. This is a lifelong journey, and it's a great one. This is a journey that is ongoing, and you and I, as we seek and serve the Lord, have the rest of our lives to get this done. But we need not to take for granted the time that we have, because our life is as a vapor. We cannot take for granted time. We have to give our time to God. And in everything that we're doing, in everything that we are, we have to be seeking God's heart. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you are in different aspects of your life, or even where you are in your faith. It doesn't matter where you are when it comes to your weaknesses or areas of inadequacy, or where you believe you should be further along in the Lord. It doesn't matter. You seek God, you press into God, you give him time. We talked last week a little bit about, I think this was Thursday, a little bit about how God reminds us that time is a matter that we have to learn to give to God. We cannot idolize time. We have to give our time to God. We have to let God have our time. And as we do, we have to understand that, first of all, time is a matter that takes up a lot of your heart. You're investing time in this thing right here, in that thought right there, in these motives right here, in this person right here, in these circumstances, and this thoughts about your future. Time. Your heart is taking that in. So you're searching out how you are to give God more of you. And as you do, you're opening up availability for him to come in. And so that's where we're learning to be more like God. When you are lining up with God, becoming one with him, this is where you're learning, and your soul is learning to be like him. You're merging together with the Lord. That's our goal. I want to be like Jesus. I want to think like him. I want to love like him. I need the patience of the Lord. You ever thought about that? God is so patient. He's so patient with you. He's so patient in how he works. He's so patient in how you see different accounts in the Bible. God worked with these people, and he's working with you. So can you imagine? God, I need more patience like you. Make me patient like you. Make me long-suffering. God, these things, this personality, these ways, these circumstances, they rub me the wrong way. God, make me like you. Make me merciful. Make me tender-hearted. Give me the compassion that I need. You have it, God. It's you. It's who you are. So it's in you. All you have to do is release it to me. And that is what's so good about our God. He's so great. He's so good that he's inviting you into him. And as you seek him, he is extending himself to you. He's releasing his glory and his power, the essence of who he is to you. And he's offering you and I himself. That doesn't mean that he doesn't understand that you want things. He's saying, but I want to give you me. And you don't understand how great of a treasure that is. So God is about that. He's about that. He's about giving of himself. He's about giving of himself to you and to me. He wants for us to open up availability. And if you know, one of the worst feelings in the world, and I'm using that as worse if I spread it out, because there's so many bad feelings you can have. But I've been on charter buses, two things that came to mind, charter buses and airplane rides, where there's only one bathroom back there, but there's a whole lot of people. And the worst feeling in the world is when you have to go really bad and there's somebody in there for so long that does not consider that somebody else might need to come in here. My goodness. I need to go in there, but there's somebody in the way. It's not available to me. It's not available to me. That is the worst feeling. How long is this going to be? I need access to that. I need access. And you can only imagine that obviously we are not the porta potties of the Lord. But the Lord wants access to us. But if we have things in the way, if we're taking in things, if we're embracing things, if we're engaging in things, if we have our mind on things, if our souls are being satisfied or wanting to be satisfied with something else, it's in the way. It's in the way. God is looking for open availability for you and I, not just one area. He says you have many areas of your heart, and I'm willing to search them out if you are. So search out that heart of yours so the Lord can begin to show you how he wants to fill you and satisfy you to all those areas of hurts, the pain from rejection and feeling as though you've wasted your time and as though you've wasted your heart, all those times where you feel like you've wasted your money, your investment, times where you feel like you just are not as strong as you thought you were, you're not as big as you thought you were, you're not as secure and stable as you need to be. He's letting you know that all of that can amount to nothing if you just have me. We can't even imagine. We're not even sure about that. But we have to allow the Lord to persuade us. We have to allow the Spirit of the Lord to get us on board with that truth. Because as we do, then he's going to open it up to us. He's going to give it to us as we believe God, as we agree that is what we need. He is who we need. And he's willing to give of himself to those who, why would you? And yet he does. Yet he does. So we have to, I love that you all are writing that out on here on the comments, because even if you struggle with that, I can understand the struggle, because you grow up your whole life wanting things. And if you didn't grow up that way, TV made you want it regardless. TV, movies, your friends, social media made you want some things anyway. You never even heard of that country and you want to go there. You never even knew that that was a place to visit, or that that was even a job to have. You never even knew that that was something that people did, and you just started wanting it because you saw it, you're exposed to it. I consider the fact that, when I was younger, I had all these plans for my future and for my future family, my future kids. And so when I had kids and there were things that we decided we would not do with them or we would not expose them to, there was a hurt that I had about it, like a personal offense. Like, my kids are not going to know what it's like to X, Y, Z, so many things. Until it dawned on me, wow, they're not going to miss what they don't know. And especially if we already know that it's not good for them, they're not going to miss it. Only reason why we have many longings and desires that are outside of God is because we have our soul that has been in enmity with God, wanting things of the world that the world and those around us have introduced us to, that if we had not had that, then we'd just be able to focus on the Lord a lot better. So we have things in the way, and the Lord is wanting to pull that out. So like I said, I'm glad that you are making these confessions, because sometimes it's ingrained in you to want something else. And I won't even say sometimes. That's just not even a word. It is in you. It's interwoven in you to want something else, to want someone else, to feel like something else has to satisfy you, that you're made this way. You can justify in the Bible. No, God made these things for us. God made the world like this. So, this has to be a part of life. God did it. God said, no, you have the wrong idea, the wrong perspective. It's me. It's not even me first. It's me only. And then when you can grasp that, then you can understand something. So your soul already is like, Jesus, maybe another day, maybe another decade, maybe another season. So you have to confess it. Your confession is absolutely necessary. Your confession is releasing the power of your words in your atmosphere and creating the shaping for the path, the steps that you are stepping into right in front of you for the rest of today and into tomorrow. So confessions with your mouth are of vital importance, that you will live according to the life and the truth of Jesus Christ. Jesus, you're all that I need. And yes, you're more than enough for me. I need just Jesus. Because when you can do that, when you can express that, we can open your mouth to that. The next aspect is your heart and your mind then can be open. You are speaking the power of God's truth out in the atmosphere into your ears. And guess what's directly connected into your ears, right? Okay. So I have to know that that's the way to have life. We talked last week about how to get God. You get God by telling him of himself. That's one of the best ways. Yeah, praise him, honor him, glorify him, prioritize him, speak about him. You're going to get God near you. And then when he gets near you, that fire is going to change you. When you get God near you, that fire is going to change you. It's going to heal you. It's going to make you. It's going to develop you. It's going to stabilize you. It's going to refine you. It's going to make you what you need to be. It is. And he does. He does. And many of you watching, many of you who will watch, have had that testimony and will continue. God is giving man himself. That's his goal. He's giving man himself. That's awesome. He's the best giver. Normally we talk about giving in certain seasons of the year, but every season of the year, the Lord is worthy of your life as a gift, a release of giving. Every season of the year, the Lord is worthy of you giving of your life. So he wants to show us how that's done. I was looking, because last week we talked a little bit about Rahab and how she opened her mouth to the people, and that unlocked some great freedom to her, not just to her, but to those that were connected to her. And she saved her life. She saved her family's life all the way through generations. And now she is in the lineage. My goodness. That right there was some powerful words. You cannot underestimate the power of a heart change. Some people could look at her story as though she switched out. But you got to look at her story as though she made it in. She did what it took to make sure she was on the right team, the right side. So that's Rahab in Joshua chapter 2. And we talked about Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10, how the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Well, his name is what we're going after. The power of the Lord, the defense of the Lord, the covering of the Lord, his only. Everything that God is. Don't you want access to everything God is? Absolutely. We want access to everything God is. And so we press into that. Confession is one of the biggest areas. But there's another lady that I want to look at today, the book of Ruth. We touched on her just a little bit last week, but as I was going back over it today, I said Ruth she's a special young lady. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. Ruth is very special here. And she did something that most would not do. Look at this, and I know you've read this several times. You've probably also sung about it. But I want you to look at this. Give yourself some fresh eyes today. Okay? This is Ruth chapter 1, verse 8. And Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me." So Naomi is recognizing Ruth and Orpah. She's letting them know that I appreciate all that you've done for me and all that you've done for your husbands. They're my sons. That really touched my heart. I will forever love you. I appreciate how you supported our family. You've loved my husband. They're no longer with us. I'm just so grateful for how you have given of yourself in this family up to this time. It has not been a short time. They've been together for some time. Naomi and her husband had gone into Moab in order to get away from famine. And so there they lived, and that's how she knew Ruth and Orpah. So they're there. And as they are there, then the men die. And now at this point, Naomi is expressing her love and appreciation. Ruth and Orpah have done some things, have devoted their life. Naomi is acknowledging that. That's not a small deal, because she's letting them know that, listen, you're not selfish people. You've dealt kindly with us, and I have to acknowledge you. Verse 9, the Lord grant you that you may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. She's saying, I want to make sure that you have security going forward, because what you've sown, you deserve to reap in excellency. I want security for your life. I want safety. I want a rest, a point of rest for you. I don't want you to have to be widows. You're too young for that. Go and find a husband. Let him take care of you. My sons are dead. Okay? The Lord grant you that you may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. They are having a time here. This right here is consideration for departure, and this is hard. They've known each other. They've been family. This is hurtful. No, I don't know how to take this. They're crying together. They're understanding that they are at a crossroads. Decisions are having to be made. Verse 10, and they said to her, surely we will return with you to your people. We can't go anywhere. Their first heart says, absolutely not, Naomi. We're going to go with you. And Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. And if I should say I have hope, and if I should have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands the whole time until, you know how long it's going to take for them to be grown? And you're way older than they are. Nay, my daughters, for it grieves me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. They lifted their voices and wept again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. I'm going to stop right there. We know this story. Orpah left, Ruth decided to stay. They both decided to stay at first, but Ruth held to that heart. What heart is this? She's not just that. We love the fact this is, where you go, I go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Let nothing but death keep us apart. Right? We love that. It sounds like, I'm going with you. I'm not going to leave you, and I'm going to serve God with you. That's exactly what we should hear. Yes. And I want to show you something else. Do you understand that Naomi is an old lady? She really can't work. And to have a husband, to have a man, is what a woman needs in this society to support her in every way, financially, protection, in covering, identity. I don't know if I said protection, covering, protection, defense, everything that she needs. That's how you're known. That's how you are not homeless. That's how you're not poor. And if your husband dies, then your sons that you raise up, that's why it was very important. One of the reasons why it's very important for women to have a son. Well, my sons are going to be the ones to take care of me when I'm old. They're going to work for us as a house. They're going to take on the family name, the family business, however that looks. And they're going to grow up. And when I can't do for myself, they're going to do for me. They're going to do for me what a man should be doing for his household. They're going to be men. And in Naomi's case, and they're going to be men of God. They're going to be a covering that I've raised up and now can properly cover me. Naomi has none of that. So she's going back, and she's going as a poor person. Not just a poor person, but someone that doesn't have covering, someone that does not have safety, someone that does not have, she has property. She has no protection from anybody that's going to come in and steal from her or damage or anything like that. And she's old, so she has no ability to really raise up her property or to build anything from there. You don't think Naomi is aware of this? She is. And she's letting them know, I'm going to sacrifice my life. I don't want you to live this way with me. Go your way and prosper. Orpah and Ruth, they both at first say no. Naomi urges them, and Ruth decides. In essence, I'm going to be that son for you. Now, she cannot be a covering. She cannot be over her spiritually. She can't. That's not the order. She would be out of order. But what she did do was make a decision. I'm not going to leave her alone. It says they clung to her, right? But she said, I'm not going to leave her alone, because leaving her alone means she has nothing, and she will have nothing. I'm not saying there's no family, because we learned that there's near kinsmen, but they're not, in essence, in that way, responsible for her. So what is that going to be like? What is it going to look like? How well can Naomi go and work? How well can she go and beg? How well can she go and glean? She's older, so that heat is going to hit her differently. That walking back and forth, bending over, picking up, she's going to operate differently than a young man or a man at all. And so Ruth says, I'm going to, no matter what, I have no husband, I'm going to sacrifice my life for Naomi. I'm going to give of myself. I'm going back, and Naomi's going to sit in the house and do whatever she needs to do, and I'm going to get up every day, and I'm going to glean. I'm going to do for her what she cannot do because of what happened in her household. I can go and have my own life. I can have somebody cover me, take care of me, where I don't have to go and be a poor person picking up scraps. But I'm going to do what Naomi cannot do for herself as a son. And I'm going to do it as long as I need to. I'm not looking for a husband. I've already been married. So I'm going to lay it all down, and I'm going to give of my life so she can be covered, so she can be safe, so she can not be alone, so she can have family. We've been family. I'm not going to leave her alone. She's coming back in an embarrassed state. I'm not going to allow her to face that on her own. I'm not. She has so much to deal with right now. I'm going to carry her load. What about you, Ruth? It's not about me. I'm going to sacrifice my everyday out in the sun, my strength, my reputation, whatever it looks like, because I'm a Moabitess. They don't even like me. I'm going to put my head down, and I'm going to plow. And I'm going to plow in hope, because as I do, I know Naomi is going to benefit. I can't think about me. I can't afford to think about me. That's not what it's about. Servitude. That's how the Lord is going to bless you. The gift of giving of yourself. That's the biggest way to get God to come into the earth through you. Your mouth isn't a door. Your whole body and how you live it as a giver is a huge door. You might as well just say portal. It's huge. It's huge. And that's what Ruth did. And not only that, okay, we know that Ruth was known as a virtuous woman. If you read this again, people began to know her as someone virtuous. They knew her as someone who gave up a lot to be with Naomi. And Boaz recognized that. And then Boaz says this in Ruth chapter 3. Look at what he says. This is verse 9. He said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your handmaid. Spread your skirt over me. Spread therefore your skirt over your handmaid, for you are a near kinsman." And he said, "Blessed be you of the Lord, my daughter." She's letting her know, like, you, according to age, we're both adults here, but you're as a daughter to me. He's also acknowledging, as a respectful way, responding to her in that way, Miss Daughter. "Blessed be you of the Lord, my daughter, for you have showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning." What was the beginning? When she married into the family, when she decided to come and help. I don't know how long she's been gleaning. This is still within the time of barley harvest. Is that the name of it? Let's see. They came back. Let me see. If you know what the phrase that's used, you can let me know, because I'm probably not going to land on it fast enough. But this is at the beginning of time of harvest. And now, oh, yes. Yes, she stayed by in the end of verse 2, verse 23 says, she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean to the end of the barley harvest and of wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother-in-law. So at this point, Ruth is talking to Boaz, and he's responding to her for the time that he's watched her work. And he said, "Blessed be you of the Lord, my daughter, for you have showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as you followed not young men, neither whether poor or rich." She does not know Boaz. She's met him. They've had a conversation. She does not know him. She doesn't know him. She knows that he's related to Naomi. And so her loyalty was to her. And he's acknowledging and recognizing, you don't have to do what you're doing. You're giving of yourself, because I'm not young. You are a young girl. And to marry an old man is not ideal for you. It's just not ideal. You know what I'm saying? This is not just a couple years. This is not just 10 years. This is an older man. And he's letting her know, you could have found anyone closer to your age. You could have found someone young and spry and handsome in that sense. But instead, what she did, regardless, she's not doing this based on rich or poor. What she did was she listened to Naomi. Naomi says, "Look, let me tell you, I want you to do this. I want you to go over here, and I want you to talk to Boaz. I want you to lay down at his feet." That can seem very disgraceful. That can seem very humiliating. That can seem very small. You want me to do what? What if he rejects me? What if he denies me? What if I get in trouble? This is the middle of the night. What if things go wrong? What if I don't want to? What if they stink? We're outside here. She said, I'm going to lay down my thoughts. I'm going to lay down my feelings. This is not about me. Not only am I going to stick with Naomi, not only am I going to work for her and be to her what she needs, giving up my life. Excuse me. I'm going to do what she says for me to do with my life. Think about that. I gave a challenge a few months back. I gave a challenge a few months back. I said, if you really want to grow in areas of humility and submission, let somebody else who you trust and who is mature and honorable, let somebody else that's over you tell you what to do with your day. Direct your life in that way. That's big. If you want to grow in that area, that's something to consider. Can I do that? You can say that. Well, you want to be like Ruth? Ruth was considered a virtuous woman for a reason. Not only did she give of her whole life in this way, when Naomi gave her instruction that could have been going against her natural woman's desires, her intent, her personal plans or thoughts about who she was or who she was not, what her life was not going to be. When Naomi presented this to her, you don't see any rebuttals. You don't hear any questions. You don't hear any plan Bs. She got up and she did what she was told to do. She obeyed Naomi. What can Naomi give her in return for her obedience? Nothing. Naomi doesn't have anything. Everything that Naomi has other than her property, Ruth is helping her to get. So what is it that Ruth can gain from obeying Naomi? Nothing as far as the sights can see. But there was an inner seed on the inside of Ruth that had her understand something. And understanding was being further unlocked in her as she went forward. No, as I sow into this, this is good ground. As I sow into this here, I'm going to reap somewhere over here. I'm going to sow the wind. I'm going to reap the whirlwind. I'm going to obey because I know it's righteous. I'm going to do what the Lord wants me to do through my authority. And I'm going to deny what I think is best because I believe that if I listen, then I'm going to be blessed. I can't help but to be blessed. The Lord is with me. I've decided to follow him. That's what she said at the beginning. No, where you go, I will go. Entreat me not to leave you or return from following after you. For where you go, I will go. And where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people and your God, my God. She did not put an S on that. Your God is going to be my God. And because your God is my God, I'm not just saying I'm going to go over here and take on some traditions. I'm saying I'm putting on the heart of God with you. So now that I'm serving God, the same God that you serve, I serve. And as I serve you, as I give of myself, I know this God is going to bless me. That may not be the priority of her mind. She's becoming a giver. That's her whole life. That was Naomi's testimony of her. And that's Boaz's testimony of her. And then we will see, if you read Ruth chapter 4, then everybody now speaks of her and into her generation. Not only is that she is a virtuous woman and a giver, but that the heavens and earth are going to bless her and give into her because of who she is. That's amazing. That is amazing. This is why we cannot withhold from what God wants for us to do. You cannot be afraid to give your life. You may not be able to see the benefit. How could she see the benefit? Naomi has nothing. You may not be able to see the benefit. She sees what Boaz has, but seriously, how can this be a good thing? This is an older man, not just a few years. This is a man. He's old. I'm not saying he's in a rocking chair or that he has a cane. I'm saying this is not ideal. He's probably has wrinkles, something. He's not young and spry. So what can they do? They cannot go and frolic together. Okay, that's not what Ruth is not going to have that. But she listens, she obeys, and she benefits. And not only that, her lineage, her heritage, those that come after her, they benefit. They benefit greatly. Don't you know that? Because the end of Ruth, I love how it ends. It's so beautiful how the end of Ruth ends. It says, just the very end of Ruth. It says, let me tell you what's happening here in Ruth 4, chapter 16. And Naomi took the child, this is Ruth's baby, and laid it in her bosom and became nurse to it. And the woman, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying, there is a son born to Naomi, and they call his name Obed. He's the father of Jesse, the father of David. And then this is how the book of Ruth ends. Now these are the generations of Pharez. Pharez fathered Hezron. And Hezron fathered Ram, and Ram fathered Amminadab, and Amminadab fathered Nahshon, and Nahshon fathered Salmon, and Salmon fathered Boaz, and Boaz fathered Obed, and Obed fathered Jesse, and Jesse fathered David. This is the Lord letting us know. Let me tell you what I want you to know about Ruth. Let me show you what it looks like to pour out your life and have the Lord respond to what you just did. Let me show you, because I know you may not know who Boaz is. You got some little knowledge, but you probably don't really know Nahshon, and you really don't know who Hezron is. Okay, you know just a tiny bit about Obed, but I bet you know David, or you know King David. You know about him, don't you? You know what I say about David throughout all of the Word of God. So let me just give you a glimpse of what I'm saying about Ruth. It's letting us know you pour out your life in this way. Give, that he's pouring out to you in abundance in ways that you cannot conceptualize. You cannot. And your reward is laying up for you. Deep treasure. And you're going to know it based on the deep access you have here on earth before you transition and get promoted. You're going to know. That's why we cannot be afraid to give of ourselves. We can't be afraid. If I go back to 1 Peter chapter 3, I'm going to look at verse 8, because look at what it says how we have to do. Verse 8, finally, be you all of one mind. You know, it takes a lot to come together and agree in one mind, to come together with someone else outside of you, brothers and sisters in the Lord, someone else that has a different mindset and different thinking patterns, heard a different thing in the Word. God highlighted different things in them. They just, the Lord works differently through them, with them. Just their day looks different. You know how much effort one has to put in to be like-minded with those around them, especially when you've been hurt or you're not sure who you can trust. Oh no, that takes a whole laying down of your life. That takes a whole denying of yourself, a denying of what you think could be right for you to defend and keep yourself safe. He says, let me tell you how to get God where you need and want him to be. Be you all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love his brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. Compassion, that's a word that when you see people that are having an attitude or someone that's not acting right, when you have thoughts, you done came to conclusions already about what you see and what you were putting together, what you heard and what you dreamt. When you already have in your mind why she should not be able to and why he is over there like that, you need to ask yourself, where is compassion and what does it look like? How do you become like-minded with the Lord enough so you can be like-minded, have grace to be like-minded with those around you, and to draw the power of God, grace and power of God, so much that those around you that have a hard time being like-minded, they too have that desire unlocked. That's what you want. You might say, oh, it's easy for me to agree. What about those around you that are having a hard time? You can tell, and you just are striving not to despise them because you can tell they're not like-minded. What if the power of God, the glory of God was so much in you, you glory carrier? What if the power of God was so much in you that as you operate, as you talk, as you worship, as you engage, as you love, as you have compassion, that unlocks like-mindedness in those around you on the peripheral? Not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing. No, we're changing that. We don't do eye for eye. Somebody does you wrong, you don't ask them, well, even though I did that, what about what you did to me? That's wrong. No, you apologize if you're wrong. If they don't have it in their heart to apologize, or if they don't see that they're wrong, you address your wrong before the Lord and before them, and you love, you have compassion. You decide, I'm not going to get offended because I have weaknesses too. To whatever measure you mete out to someone else is as far as a lack of mercy, lack of love, judgment, whatever it is, you're going to have it measured back to you. Not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, but contrariwise, blessing. So bless, not curse. Bless, don't curse. And I would never curse. No, I don't curse. I haven't cursed in years. No, I don't curse people. That's not right. I would never do that. Well, if you're not intentionally releasing a blessing in that direction by your heart, your voice, your disposition, your eye gaze, your side eyeing, your heart, how you engage. If that's not blessing, then guess what it is? It's only the other way around. That's it. So we have to learn. What does courtesy look like? It tells you be courteous. A contrary-wise blessing. Knowing that you are thereunto called, that you should inherit a blessing. You know what that's saying? I'm going to stop with that one. That's saying, don't you know that the moment that you're experiencing right now, or the thing that happened to you in a moment or over here, don't you know that this is such a small thing in comparison to the rest of your life and your eternal reward? Don't respond to what's happening right in front of you according to how it's hitting you, according to what's happening in your mind. It says, look, not rendering evil for evil, railing for railing, but contrary-wise, blessing, knowing, keeping in mind, having it in front of you, respecting the fact, valuing the fact that you are called, that you're going to inherit a blessing. So you already are blessed. You're already set up to prosper. Nothing is going to hurt you. You are already ahead. You cannot fail as you serve Jesus. You're already defended. So why do you have to take on self-defense, self-preservation, offense, and hiding and isolation? Absolutely not. Why are you mad? Why? Don't you know that you're called to inherit a blessing? You have evidence of that. Aren't you gifted? Aren't you anointed? That tells you the Lord has put good seed in you. That seed is going to grow into greater. So then why are you acting like that? Why did you get offended? Why are you trying to respond in a way, or why did you let your body or your emotions respond according to what just happened? We have growth. We have growth. Why did you just talk about that person because you felt like it was okay to do it? You're not even paying attention to how you're poking fun at that person behind their back. That's just what you normally do. It's not good. We cannot behave these ways. The Lord is raising up people who are wanting to know God. He's raising up people who are desiring to have him and to be full of him so that they can exemplify, look, Jesus reigns here. We've heard that. We've heard it. We've heard it. No, Jesus is alive. No, we've heard that our whole lives. God is looking for people who are after God's heart to where they can really prove, no, he's alive. Watch this. No, he's alive. Look at my life. Oh, he is alive. Look at the world and look at this light right here. It's like Jesus saying, look what I can do. Yeah. Yes. This is the life that you're living. Don't live life according to your moment. Live life according to the fact that you know that you're called to inherit a blessing. Ruth was living that way. Every man of God, every woman of God has to live that way. Give of your life, knowing that what you're giving cannot compare to what the Lord is releasing. That's it. We have to keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. And as we do, may the Lord return unto you. He's not unrighteous. He's so faithful. God is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love that you minister and do minister to the saints of God. He's not unrighteous. He's so good. He's just. He's balanced. He is faithful. He is blessed. He is integrous. God is the Lord. And he knows how to do his job. So may the Lord bless you to sow into what he's doing in the earth by giving of yourself. The best gift you can give. Give of yourself freely. He that gives with simplicity. Give of yourself freely and watch God move. In Jesus' name.